Hello there, welcoming you all in the Physics Arena by Nitesh sir. Students, in the previous queue of lectures, we have learned about the chapter Center of Mass. So, with the help of this video lecture today, I am going to share you the knowledge about the motion of the center of mass. What do you mean by the center of mass? Already we have learned that the center of mass is a point for a body where each and every mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. Whereas when a body is subjected to motion, means an external force is applied to the body and the body comes into the motion. So what will be the center of mass for a body when it is in motion? So we are going to state about this topic. So students, when a body is subjected to the external force, then it will come into the motion. So first of all, we are considering a rigid body or a system which consists n number of the particles. So let us suppose that and how we can give its expression. So in order to find out its expression, here I am elaborating. Let us suppose that a system of n particles, here we are considering a system of n particles of masses m1, m2, m3 and so on till mn particle respectively. Okay students, and with the here what I have written here, let us suppose that a system of n particles of masses m1, m2, m3 up to mn with position vectors, means the position from the origin, position vectors as r1, r2, r3 and so on till rn related to a fixed point as origin, to a fixed point is called origin. So students, we have chosen a system of n particles of masses m1, m2, m3 up to mn and their position from the origin, that is r1, r2, r3 and rn. So whenever the body is subjected to the external force, so suppose the system is subjected to an external force, that is the external force will be for each and every particle. So it will be f1, f2, f3 and so on fn for the nth particle. Okay students, okay, exerted by the surrounding. So what I have written, suppose the system is subjected to an external force f1, f2, f3 up to fn by the surrounding. In this condition, what we can conclude? In this condition, what will be the center of mass? Then by definition of the center of mass can be calculated as RCM. RCM will be the product of mass to the position vector of each and every particle. So m1 r1, m2 r2, m3 r3 and so on till mn rn upon total mass of the system. So here particle A having mass m1, second m2, third m3 and so on mn. Okay students, what we have did here, we have choose a we have chosen here a system of n particle masses given as m1, m2, m3 respectively till mn, and their position from the origin is r1, r2, r3 up to dot dot rn. Okay, and now when a force is applied to the system, then f1, f2, f3 and fn will be the force will be the exerted to the system by surrounding. Then with the definition of center of mass, we can conclude that m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 to dot dot mn rn upon the total mass of the system. Okay students, and as we are knowing that, what we are knowing that, we can say that m1 plus m2 up to dot dot till mn is assumed to be capital M, that is the total mass of the system. So what we can write? We can write RCM is equals to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 up to dot dot mn rn upon total M. Okay students, we can write like this. Okay, so when the system is subject, and this is the distance center of mass, and as we are going to state about the motion of the center of mass, so let us suppose that the body is subjected to the what? Subjected to the motion. So when distance will be differentiated with respect to time, then we will achieve the what? Distance upon time is known as speed or motion. So let's start with the differentiating of this equation. So let us suppose that this is equation number 1. Differentiate equation 1 with respect to time t. So what will be happen? drcm upon dt means with respect to time. Change in the center of mass will take place with respect to the change in time. So how it can be calculated? It can be calculated as, so students, here mass is an invariant quantity, so it can be considered as a constant term like 1 upon m, and here you can see m1 r1. So m1 will be constant, and change in distance will take place with respect to time dt. So m2 r2 dt and so on mn drn upon dt will be the differentiation of this particular expression. So students, as we are knowing that, what we are knowing that 1 upon m, and here m1 will be remain unchanged, and as we know that change in displacement with respect to time is known as velocity for the first particle. So m1 v1 it will be, and m2 v2 plus and so on mn vn. How we have written this expression? By we know that, since we know that dr1 upon dt is equals to what? That is v1. Change in displacement with respect to time is known as velocity. That's why I have written this expression. So let us suppose that this is the expression number 2. Okay, so if we again differentiate, so what we get? This is the what? This is the VCM, means when the body is subject to the force, then it is coming to the motion. So the velocity of center of mass. Okay students, where we can write that, where VCM is the velocity of center of mass when a body is in a motion by the application of a force by the surrounding. Students, let's differentiate this given equation with respect to time t once again. Why? Because change in distance with respect to time is known as velocity, whereas change in velocity with respect to time is known as acceleration. And as we are knowing that when a body is in motion, so there will be the change in acceleration will takes place. So let's start to differentiate this equation 2. Now differentiating equation 2 with respect to time T. Okay, so what we will get? dVcm upon dt is equals to 1 upon m will be remain unchanged. So still m1 will be unchanged. So change in velocity with respect to time t will takes place for the first particle. Similarly, it will be happen for the second particle, and will also for the nth particle. Okay, students. So what can conclude from here? That this is acceleration. So this is acceleration. So we can write here dVcm upon dt is equals to 1 upon m, and dv upon dt, that is a, we can write m1 a1 plus m2 a2 up to dot dot mn an. Okay, students. So what we can conclude further? We can conclude further that already we have written this dVcm upon dt is equals to 1 upon m, m1 a1 plus m2 a2 up to dot dot for the nth particle, that is mn an. And students, dv upon dt is known as acceleration, since dv upon dt, change in velocity with respect to time, is known as acceleration. So here we can put this value. So this is acm, this is acm, can be written as 1 upon m, m1 a1 plus m2 a2 up to dot dot mn an. So students, if we will multiply this m2 here, then it will be capital M acm is equals to m1 a1 plus m2 a2 plus and so on mn an. By this we can conclude that this is what? This is acm is equals to, this is the force is equals to mass into acceleration. So this will be f1, this will be f2 up to dot dot fn, and this is the force applied to a particle, the force applied to a particle. Here we can give, because acceleration is also a vector quantity, so we will put here the vector sign. So this is the sum of nth forces. So it will be the external force applied to the system will be equals to the mass and product of mass and the center of mass of acceleration. So we can write that. What does it means? This expression means that, here I am encircling this expression. This expression means that, it means that the center of mass, it means that the center of mass of a particle of n particle system, moves as if the entire mass, of the system were concentrated at it. Okay, students, and all the external forces were applied on it, it will be what? On it. So students, from this expression we can conclude that whenever a rigid body is subjected to the force and it will be in motion, then total external force will give rise the change in its center of mass against its the acceleration. Okay students, and if we maintain the acceleration as a constant, means uniform, then the sum of all the algebraic forces will be 0. So the condition, the important condition is that, with the help of note I am going to give a glance. If what we can conclude that from above equation, if F external becomes 0, let us suppose that the total force or the external force applied to the system becomes 0. In this condition, there will be no acceleration will takes place along the center of mass. Okay student, then we can conclude that the velocity of the system becomes constant, means there will be no change in the velocity will takes place for that condition. Okay students, so this was the motion of the rigid body, and in this way we can calculate the center of mass of a motion. Now students, we are proceeding to the next topic, that is a momentum conservation. What do you mean by the momentum conservation? As we are knowing that momentum is momentum is denoted by small p, and it is product of the mass to the velocity of the body. Because velocity is a vector quantity, so the momentum will be also a vector quantity. So how we can conclude that, and how we can come to a specific task that momentum is being conserved for a system. So let's start to learn about the momentum conservation. So let us consider once again a system of n particles. So let us suppose that a system of n particles with masses m1, m2, m3 and so on till mn, okay, with their velocities as v1, v2, v3 and so on till vn. What we have did, students, here we are going to, our aim is to calculate the momentum conservation. It means that momentum of a body remain unchanged, means momentum should be constant for a system. So first of all, we have chosen a system of n particle with the masses m1, m2, m3 up to mn, with their velocities as v1, v2, v3 and so on as vn. So students, in this condition, the total linear momentum of the system would be the vector. How we can give? So we can conclude that the total linear momentum is product of mass to the velocity. So the total linear momentum of the system would be the sum of moment of all the all individual particles. So student, in this way we can conclude that total momentum will be equals to momentum of the first particle, momentum of the second particle plus momentum of the third particle and so on till the momentum of the nth particle. Okay students, so as we are knowing that momentum is equals to product of mass to the velocity of the first particle mass to the velocity of the second particle, and so on. In this some similar way we can give rise as mn vn. Okay students, so let's start how we can give the conservation of momentum. Okay students, so let's start with the so student, what we can write by the definition of the center of mass. Earlier we have introduced that the velocity of the center of mass for a rigid body will be equals to 1 upon m m1 v1 plus m2 v2 up to mn vn for n particle system, where m is the total mass of the system. So students, we can write from here that the momentum of the system can be given by the product of the total mass of the system to the velocity against the center of mass for a system. In this way, if we are knowing that the total mass of the system and the velocity along the center of mass, then we can calculate that the total linear momentum. Okay students, so now what we are going to do, we are going to first, let us suppose that this is the equation number 1. Okay students, so differentiating equation 1 with respect to time t, and as we know that the change in momentum with respect to time t is known as what? Is force. Yes student, this is the second equation of motion. So let's start. dp upon dt, change in momentum with respect to time will be equals to what? That is a mass will be invariant quantity of the body. So change in the velocity of the body along the center of mass will take place with respect to the time t, and as we know that dvcm upon dt is equals to acceleration along center of mass. Okay students, so and already we have learned that the total mass, product of the total mass to the center of mass of the system will be equals to the total external force applied by the surrounding to the body. Then what we can write? We can write that what from here, that the change in momentum with respect to time t will be equals to the external force applied by the body. It means that the rate of change of momentum of a particle is equals to the sum of all the forces acting on the body. And students, in case of momentum conservation, no change in the algebraic sum of the forces should be 0. So in case of conservation of momentum, the algebraic sum of all the forces acting onto the body externally, it should be 0. Then dp upon dt will be as a constant quantity. 0 is a constant quantity, so we can write that the momentum of the particle will be also a constant quantity. It means that students, whenever an object is in motion, and if its linear momentum we are willing to make it constant, then its acceleration should be constant. So in this way we can give the conservation of momentum for the n particle system. Students, inside of your book there is a basic question given as difference between the center of mass and center of gravity. So what is the basic difference between the center of mass and gravity, and how you can define it? So difference between, I am going to discuss about that topic. Difference between center of mass, that is Cm, and center of gravity, that is Cg. Okay students, so center of mass and center of gravity. So students, center of, what do you mean by the center of mass and what do you mean by center of gravity? Center of mass for a body is a point where the entire mass of the body is considered to be the concentrated, okay, whereas center of gravity is a point where the all gravitational force acting on a body is considered to be concentrated. And as we know that the center of mass remain constant and it is independent of the position, whereas the weight of the body depends upon its acceleration, okay, due to gravity. Okay, so these are the two basic conditions. First condition was that the center of mass is a point where the total mass of the body, means point at which total mass of body assumed to be concentrated, whereas point at which total gravitational force acting on body assumed to be zero. It means that, assumed to be concentrated. It means that the sum of all the forces at that point will be what? A constant, or that is concentrated at that point. So students, yet now we have learned a lots of things along this chapter. So in the further lecture we will discuss more topics. Till that day, stay tuned, keep learning, keep growing. Have a nice day.